Are we on? We could be on. I wouldn't be entirely sure about that. Let me just check. Can never tell straight off the bat. If you're there, say something. Good afternoon, Wingy Media. How are you today? It says we've been on for 2 minutes. I think it's coming through though, so good. Thomas and Rosie, FTW Diesel and Diesel 10 FTL. That's a very long name. Says, hi, hello, and welcome to the stream. It's a lovely day. Hope you're all keeping safe and well. Mr. Dank Engine 1999 EDCP says hello there. Hello and welcome to the stream as well to you all. I'm good, enjoying this incredible lockdown again. You, says Wingy Media. Oh yes, it's riveting stuff. A beautiful day. We've got the sea about 20 minutes away from where I'm living, so yeah, not going to be able to get down there. It's a bit of a nightmare. Becky B Poetry says, hello, hello, smiley face. Hello, Becky B Poetry. Incidentally, to anyone who's watching or subscribed or whatever, go to Becky B Poetry. She's done a poem called Lockdown, which is obviously very relevant to what's going on right now at the moment, so give that a watch. Luigi is back. He says, hey, hello, Luigi. Nice to have you back on the stream. Mr. Dank Engine says, when's your 18th Ertl collection update coming? That will be coming soon because I have now completed my whole collection of the Ertl toys range, sealed in box. So I will be doing a video for that, and there's no time like the present because obviously with lockdown we haven't really got anything better to do. At least I haven't. So yeah, probably will be doing that. I will be doing a watch along of the classic first series of Thomas and Friends. So if you've got it at home, pop it in your DVD player. Let's give it a little bit of a watch together, shall we? And also, I've got a few new push-alongs that I might do a little unboxing for, if you so request. So it's just a nice little relaxed live stream. Let's see where it goes. Will Harvey and Wilbert be in that video? Harvey will be in that video. Wilbert, I'm pretty sure I've done Wilbert. Maybe the last 2 or 3 videos of my Ertl collection. You might have to have a little look over and see, but I'm pretty sure Wilbert features in one of those videos. What do you think of Thomas and Friends season 24? I don't actually have an opinion of series 24. I haven't seen any clips or any episodes, and to be honest, I'm not very fussed either way by it. Wingy Media says, any more take and play stories coming soon? Yes, there will be at some point. It's just a case of getting it all together and getting the props and the sets and everything ready and see where it goes with that. But I really would like to do them again. It's just it is very time consuming, but I will certainly be doing at least another 4 more of those. Luigi, I'm going to watch it on US Amazon. Good for you, dear sir. And Mr. Dank says, when I checked your videos, he wasn't there. He may not have been. I might not have included him. But he will be making an appearance. Will you get the Royal Engine and Thomas and Friends, the complete series 21, when they come out on DVD? Asks Thomas and Rosie, etc., etc. Yes, I will definitely be getting series 21. The Royal Engine, I'm sure I will pick it up because I'm a collector of the DVDs and stuff. So yeah, I probably will do, but I'm not overly fussed about if and when it comes out. So I'll get round to it at some point when it comes out. So, hello again to everybody who's joined. Please smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we're going to start off. I'm gonna watch the first episode of series 1, which of course we should all know by now is Thomas and Gordon. So Britt Orcroft up on screen right now. Britt Orcroft presents, and off we go. The first ever episode of Thomas and Friends. I'm missing them on the camera. So, are you going to add Old Slow Coach in the next update? If Old Slow Coach is not on any of the videos up to now, that will be another one that will be appearing in the other Ertl videos. And that was from Mr. Dank. Thank you for that. And Thomas and Rosie, the Royal Engine comes out on DVD on May the 4th, which is 2 weeks' time. Well, thank you very much. That is nice to know. But yeah, I probably will. Might not. I don't think I'll pre-order it, but I will get it as and when it comes out. Funds pending. There's Thomas rolling into Knapford Station. Nothing comes close to this series. Series 1 and 2 were my absolute favourites. What's your favourite series, people? Give me some messages. What you think your best series is? Give me your reasons why. And what's your favourite episode from this series? I said yesterday in the live stream what my favourite was from this series, at least. So yeah, tell me your thoughts. Ringo is a great legend. Ringo is the man. He is my narrator. I grew up watching Thomas and Friends during Series 2's first broadcast and stuff like that, and going back to Series 1 growing up as well. So Ringo Starr is my storyteller. He's my favourite, always will be. Season 1 because Ringo is my fave. Well, thank you. What is it? A Fenner 7. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I 100% agree with you. Do you like any other kids shows other than Thomas and Friends? Are you kidding? Oh, Fireman Sam was a favourite of mine. The classic era of Fireman Sam. Postman Pat I used to like. Sooty, the Sooty Show I used to love. Gran, I don't know if anyone remembers Gran. That was a great little series. I loved. What else was there? Tugs, which was like it was made around about the same time as Thomas and Friends, and but it was tugboats. They had faces. They moved around. They only did 13 episodes, and it was a great series, directed and produced by David Mitten and Richard Cardona, of course, who did Thomas and Friends. So has a very similar feel, but Tugs was one of my favourites as well. Any episodes with Stepney are my favourites. I love him. Saw him on the Bluebell Railway too. Yeah, I've been to Bluebell Railway many times, and yeah. And what's great about the Bluebell engine or Stepney is that at the Bluebell Railway he has actually got exactly the same livery. They've actually completely based it on the Bluebell engine Stepney from the Bluebell Railway and adapted him for the TV series. Hence why the Railway series book was called what was it called now? Something in Bluebells. Bluebells of England, I think it was called, one of the stories. That was it. Bluebells of England. I love Gran, says Becky B. Poetry. Well, I know you do, Becky B Poetry. I know all too well how much you enjoyed Gran, as did I. RF, the Gordon fan, says hi. Well, the fact that you've got Gordon in your title, I am welcoming you. Hope you enjoy the stream. Gordon being, of course, my favourite engine from the series. As he pulls into the station with Thomas being pulled behind, looking absolutely exhausted. And I've got to say, these releases are remastered. At least series 1 to 4 are, and series 1 and 2 just look absolutely incredible. Thomas and Rosie, what do you think of Bob the Builder? Honestly, I haven't got an opinion of Bob the Builder. Not because I have any criticism towards it. It's just it was never a program. I was at that age where I was a little bit getting a bit too old for something like Teletubbies or Bob the Builder, because when things like Teletubbies and the Tweenies came out, I was about 11, 12. So I was still a massive fan of Thomas and things like that, because that was recalling back to my childhood. And who doesn't like to recall back to their childhood? You know, it was happy times. Thomas and Friends, watching Laurel and Hardy, all those sort of things. That was me. That was what I watched growing up. So those sort of things I just love to revisit. And this time of year, where it's nice and sunny outside and the weather's warming up and everything, it just creates that lovely little bit of nostalgia, doesn't it? What have we got? Am I missing comments? I don't want to be missing people's comments. What's the best Thomas and Friends dub? The US dub or the UK dub? Explain to me what dub is, because maybe I'm just not hip. Maybe I'm not down with the kids, but I don't actually know what you mean by dub. Luigi, if you could just let me know and I can elaborate further on it. Gordon fan. Mine is Down the Mine from series 1 because it shows character development from Thomas and Gordon. That is very true. That is very true. Down the Mine is a classic. I prefer personally Off the Rails. That's one of my favourites from series 1. Anything though with Gordon in. Gordon, Henry, Percy, and James probably, and then Edward, and then Thomas. Those in that order. They're my favourite character stories, usually. Thomas and Rosie says, did you watch Pingu when you were a kid? I did watch Pingu. Again, it wasn't my. I'd rather watch something like Wallace and Gromit than watch something like Pingu. It was all right. I didn't feel like I gained anything from watching it. Whereas Thomas, you get a great story, you get a great experience from it. Other things like I don't know. Other things like, say, Inspector Gadget, they were fun, and there was sort of like a little bit of intrigue and mystery. And then there was other programs like Play Bus, which were informative, educational. Whereas Pingu, I didn't really get anything from it. Were you a fan of Pingu? Let me know if you were a fan of Pingu, Thomas and Rosie. Luigi, dub means the US narration or the UK narration? UK, but I'm biased. I don't like George Carlin. I think he was a bit too rough and gruff for Thomas and Friends. Who was the other one? Baldwin. He was all right. A little bit too soft spoken to me. Ringo Starr is the best, and then a very close second, Michael Angelis. Anyone after that, relatively. I mean, Mark Morahan was good, but he's no Angelis and he's no Ringo Starr. And I hate the fact that Thomas narrates the stories in the new series. It just doesn't do anything for me. So we're on to Edward and Gordon. If you're watching, is anyone watching along? Is anyone put in the DVD? Or, you know, someone said they were going on the US Amazon to watch it along as well. Are you doing that? Are you at the same place I am? I'm watching Edward and Gordon. Edward's just coming out of the shed and he's just shutting the trucks. So if you're up to that point, well done. I hope you're enjoying this stream, by the way. I will be doing one of the unboxings. I will show you what I've got. Tell me which ones you want me to actually physically unbox. And this is a big moment for me because I don't tend to unbox them because I don't really like unboxing them for sort of value, you know, monetary value later on. They might become collector's items later down the line. Oh gosh, I've missed a few here. UK dub easily. Americans calling coaches cars is weird considering a car goes on the road, says Wingy Media, and I totally agree. Totally agree. But you know, American and English phonetics and all that, if it, you know, it suits them, but it doesn't apply to us. So it, hearing freight cars and stuff like that, a railroad, it just doesn't compute with us the same way. So yeah, of course the UK narration, but that's not knocking the American narration if that you have fans of that. Thomas and Rosie says, "What's your opinion on the Wiggles?" Oh, I've got to be honest. I think it's a load of rubbish. I'm sorry if that disappoints you, but yeah, I thought that was a bit brainless personally. But you know, horses for courses. I was a fan of Pingu, and I still like it to this day. Do you know what, Thomas and Rosie? If you've enjoyed and got as much out of Pingu as I have with Thomas and Friends, or Mr. Bean, or Lauren Hardy, and all these various programs that I love and watch, then do you know what? More power to you, and wonderful. And do you know what? Why not go and relax and enjoy it? Not right now because there's a stream and I would like you to watch it. So wait until after the stream. But you know, if you want to relive your Pingu, yeah, go and relive Pingu, like I'm doing with Thomas. Why not? Luigi, I am watching along. Is it you, Luigi, that's watching it on the US Amazon? Don't forget to, we've got 8 likes, we've got 10 people watching. So there's 2 people that haven't liked this. Come on, smash it down there. Yes. Yeah, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. RF the Gordon says, another one of my favourites is Trouble in the Shed, and Percy Runs Away because it shows character development from both Gordon. I don't think there's any more. I can't see any more to that comment. Can I? Yeah. I was saying on my live stream yesterday that if I had to pick my favourite series one story, it would probably be Flying Kipper. But Off the Rails, Tenders and Turntables, Troubles in the Shed, Percy Runs Away, Whistles and Sneezes. I forgot to mention that one as well. I love Whistles and Sneezes. What was the other one? Dirty Objects, but I think you have it as James and the Tar Wagons or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, they're amongst my favourites. Wingy Media. Edward is an underrated character. Gordon is a bit of a git, to be honest. Yeah, that's why I like Gordon though. That's what I think is quite amusing about Gordon is that he is a bit of a bossy boiler, and but you know the stories that he usually is in are very interesting and have good sort of build up and everything. But I totally agree with Edward. Edward has some of the most underrated stories, especially from the classic era. I mean, I love Cows. I love Edward's Exploit, Bertie's Chase. Even I've come to really love Save from Scrap, and yeah, that's one that when I was really young I wasn't massively big on, but I loved that one. Old Iron with James and Edward, loved that one as well. Edward, Gordon, and Henry. Which we're now starting the sad story of Henry. Henry's just going into the tunnel. He's going to squeeze through his funnel, and he's not going to come out again. And Edward, oh, right on cue, just pops out the other side. There we go. Just going to have a little taste of my sippy cup because I need to take a breath. Thomas and Rosie, what's your favourite movie? Once Upon a Time in America, my favourite movie of all time. Just absolutely brilliant. If you've got a spare 24 hours, watch it. It's a very long film. But it's got Robert De Niro, it's got James Wood, it's got Tuesday Weld as well in it, I think. Joe Pesci makes an appearance. It's a fantastic film. If you like gangster films and you like a bit of thriller as well, a bit of whodunit and great twists and turns and plots and stuff like that, it's a beautiful film. Would recommend for younger fans, don't go streaming it or watching it if you are under the age of 18. It is an 18 rated and there is some very mature material in there, so I'm not recommending to anyone under the age of 18 to watch it. Anyone 18 over, give it a watch. What have we? Blah, blah, blah. Oh my goodness gracious! They're all coming in thick and fast, and I'm not very good at reading. Where are we? Yes, I'm using US Amazon, and my favourite Thomas and Friends episode is Henry's Forest from Series 3, says Luigi. That's a brilliant episode. That's another one that as a kid, it wasn't one of my favourites, but I've come to really appreciate that one. That's one that you could imagine came from the Railway series. That was by Andrew Brenner, I believe, who was the head writer on the new CGI series before that went afloat. Ringy Media says, at least initially. Yes, yeah. As the series goes on, Gordon, I'm presuming you're talking about, yeah, he sort of softens up a little bit, but I think that's because with character development, like one of our comments has said, Gordon's character tends to expand. Retro Nostalgia Fan says, hey TwinHat, hello, nice Beatles shirt. My second favourite album of the Beatles is Revolver. There we go. Yeah, and I have my Sergeant Pepper one somewhere. That's my favourite. But yeah, thank you very much. Nice to interact with a fan. RT the Gordon, just asking, why do you like Gordon? Because some of my favourite stories feature Gordon. The Trouble in the Shed when they go on strike. Tenders and Turntables where he has to go backwards. When he in this next story that follows the sad story of Henry, Edward Gordon and Henry, when he breaks down and blows his boiler, he just looks like a complete imbecile. And it's nice that Gordon can be very sort of arrogant and regal in his approach, thinking he knows everything, and he doesn't. Look at Whistles and Sneezes. He completely criticises Henry for getting a new shape, wandering off to Crewe and all this sort of stuff, and then he ends up messing up his own whistle and ends up again looking like a bit of a prat, which is great. Off the rails. Some of the best crashes in Thomas and Friends have involved Gordon. If I'm going later down the line, look at what is it called? Oh, A Better View for Gordon, when he goes crashing through the wall of the new station. That's an amazing scene. Yeah, love Gordon. And blue is my favourite colour, so that probably helps as well. My favourite is Edward's Exploit, says Retro Nostalgia. That's a great one. I remember I've got a video of my classic VHS, not unboxings, but my sort of give me a word, people. My reveal of my VHSs. I've got the original, The Deputation and Other Stories video, and that was one I grew up with from a very young age. So that's one I remember very fondly having, and I really enjoyed Edward's Exploit. Thomas and Rosie, what's that you're drinking? Well, I don't know if I'm breaching copyright or advertising restrictions by saying it, but I'm not favouring any particular brand, but it starts with P and ends with Psi. Becky B Poetry. James is my favourite character. Really enjoy his stories and the fact he's my favourite number and colour. Well, what more reason do you need, Becky B Poetry? I've got James right here. Look at that, right on cue. Great bit of advertising there. So this is the new push along. This is the new push along, James. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I can't believe I did that. That's pathetic. But there he is. There's James. There's the number 5. He's quite long and quite thin for James, but and of course we've got the new Trackmaster push along couplings that accompany him. Very easy to snap off and snap back on, even when you're doing a live stream. So his face does look a lot like it does in the CGI series, but yeah, he looks good. It's nice. It's nice. Not overly detailed, but it's good. That's one of the new ones. And do you like any Disney movies? Do I like Disney movies? I am going to be doing a video showcasing my whole Disney and Pixar collection, because I have all of the Disney classics and all of the Disney Pixars up to Toy Story 4 in their special edition slipcases. It's literally just to my left, which will be to your right as you're looking at it, I think. Yes, I think so. Yeah, literally on the shelf there. So yes, I do love Disney's. We grew up with pretty much all the Disneys on video or Laserdisc. I don't know if you're old enough to remember Laserdisc. Um, yeah, and we had so many of them. Yeah, Disney was a big part of our childhood. Um, I'm 15, says Thomas and Rosie. Whoa, is it your birthday? Have you just turned 13? If so, happy birthday. Welcome to the stream, Thomas and Rosie. You're very welcome. I have enjoyed your comments so far. So yeah, wonderful. RF the Gordon fan. I'm sorry, I meant to say it shows character development from Gordon in both episodes. Yes, I agree with you. Luigi, I have to go my online class now, so I'll be back later. Thank you very much, Luigi, for joining us on the stream. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're currently on Edward, Gordon, and Henry, so pause it now and maybe continue it later on. Have a great day, my friend. Thomas and Rosie, what's your favourite Wallace and Gromit short? Wrong Trousers, that was the first one I ever watched. Retro Nostalgia says, that's awesome. Mattel, ironically, Revolver is my first favourite, second is the White Album, and third is Sergeant Pepper. I really love the White Album, but I have to be in a certain mood to listen to it, because there's quite a lot of information on that album. I would usually go to Sergeant Pepper, Revolver or Abbey Road. They're a bit interchangeable, but right now my go-to is Abbey Road. But have all the Beatles albums on vinyl as well, so it's extra sweet to listen to them on there. Wingy Media says, do you like the Magic Railroad? Even as a kid, I thought it was a bit rubbish. I hate Thomas and the Magic Railroad. I said it in my last stream that there was no context for UK fans to jump on board, so to speak, with it, because the American audience knew about Shining Time, Mr. Conductor, and all this sort of stuff going on. We didn't have that context, so when Thomas and the Magic Railroad came out, it didn't really make sense to us. Chloe Netherton sends a big love heart with I think that's an X through it. Sending my love back, my beauty. And Becky B Poetry says, Laserdisc was awesome. I know it was, Becky B. You know it was, and I know it was. It was great. Thomas and Rosie, when are you going to do another episode of the new Thomas and Friends Taking Place stories? Thomas and Rosie, that's lovely. Only Wingy Media has actually asked me about that, and I would be very, very happy to do some at some point. It is a lot of work, though. It really is. It takes about two to 3 days to just set up, light up, actually do just half the shots that I only do 5-minute episodes like the classic series, but it takes a good 2 or 3 days to set it all up, light it correctly, shoot the individual shots, because I have to move all the sets around every time I shoot a new location. I don't have several little layouts. I have one layout which I have to strip away, start again, and then the worst thing of all is when I have to go back and reshoot something at Tidmouth Sheds, for example, and I've already shot all of the Tidmouth Sheds and I've moved on to Knapford Station, and I've realised I've missed out a whole chunk and I have to go back and reset it. So it takes forever. It takes at least a week and a half to get one episode onto the computer to edit. So it is a labour of love, but anyone who hasn't, please get in the videos down below after the stream and give them a watch. Why not? You know, they're 5 minutes each. There's 4 episodes. That's 20 minutes of your time. We've got all the time in the world. We're stuck at home and everything else. So why not give them a watch? It's definitely a lot better than series 23 or 24, and that's just my opinion, but I firmly believe that. Thomas and Rosie, And plus, my birthday was 3 months ago on January the 18th. Well, the same day as Oliver Hardy. I don't know if you know about Laurel and Hardy, Thomas and Rosie. Fantastic comedy double act that basically changed the face of comedy forever as we know it. Anyone that you watch these days were influenced by those guys. So maybe go on YouTube, give them a watch as well. I've got some videos of their DVDs if ever you're thinking investing in them. Yeah, Oliver Hardy, the big fat one. Yeah, same birthday. Um, Henry's not very well. Oh dear. This is Thomas's train. I like this one. I like this one. Oh, Henry's face. Is it me or did Henry have the creepiest faces in the series? His saddened face does look really quite weird. Yeah. Oh, and Thomas is off. He's excited. Oh, look at him. He's like a kid at Christmas. Look at him shunting those coaches together. Oh, dear. RF the Gordon fan. If you want to know why I like Gordon specifically, the classic version of him is because he went through development. Ah, okay. Well, there we go. There's, in other words, you're thinking there was more depth to his character than there is probably, definitely now. Becky B Poetry, yes, more of the take and play. They're fantastic. I know they are. I keep trying to tell people this. I know. Thank you very much, Becky B Poetry. Thomas and Rosie, can you do a behind the scenes video? I could. That would be very time consuming. Now, there's only 9 likes and there's 11. There's 2 people who haven't smashed a like. Smash a like, subscribe, do what you need to do. Let me know yes or no. Yes, if you want me to do any unboxings, I've got a few of the new Trackmaster toys available right beside me if you want me to unbox any of them. But keep your questions coming. I'm enjoying myself. It's very relaxed, very nice to have you all here. That retro nostalgia fan says that's understandable, and for me, I used to be used to being that way towards the white, but now I've been listening to it more. Yeah, yeah, they are. But it's the Beatles. They're all great albums. They all have something different. RF the Gordon. In season 1, he was boastful, pompous, a pompous jerk. However, slowly in season 2, and even more in series 3 to 7, became a much more humble, hard-working. Yeah, I agree. I prefer his character development in series 1 to 4 because that's more in keeping with the books. Because a lot of those stories were based off the Railway series books, whereas in series 5, 6, and 7, they would have adapted their characters a little bit like they did with the narrow gauge engines. Skarloey, Rheneas, Sir Handel, Peter Sam were very different in series 4 to how they were portrayed in series 7. There's a lot of inaccuracies and inconsistencies with their characters, which I could deal with in series 6 and 7, but series 8 onwards, up until it's about series 17, they made Skarloey and Rheneas a little bit like Bill and Ben, a bit mischievous, whereas actually they were very old, wise engines. But that comes from having people involved in the show that had no knowledge of the show's history. Thomas and Rosie, I don't. And I'm not a fan of comedy, but I respect your opinion, but I like some of them. Well, that's good to hear. It's always good to have an open mind. Retro nostalgia fan, do you think Thomas and Lady could be soulmates? No, they're engines. They can be friends, but I don't understand if they could be soulmates. For starters, she only appears once every 10 years. I mean, how can you form any kind of close bond with any engine who you see once every blue moon? It doesn't make sense to me. Becky B Poetry. Yes, he did. His face after he's crashed in the flying kipper when he sees the fat controller. Also, him holding his sneeze is a freaky face too. Absolutely, it is. It is a strange looking face. I have to admit. Thomas and Rosie. When did you discover Thomas and Friends? I was about 3 or 4. That's a long time ago. That's about nearly 30 years ago. I've given away my age, haven't I? I know I don't look it. Welcome to the live stream. If anyone just tuned in then, that's a bit odd, isn't it? Did you watch Super Mario Logan? No, I didn't. A Fenner 7. Oh, welcome back, sir. What is your favourite Thomas and Friends specials? Definitely not Thomas and the Magic Railroad. King of the Railways is a brilliant one. I really liked The Adventure Begins because of nostalgia. Thomas the Tank Engine wouldn't stop being a nuisance. You see, that's the problem. Thomas and Friends in the old days, Thomas was cheeky. He was a bit disobedient. He would do his own thing. He'd get in trouble. He'd say sorry, and then he'd move on. Where's the cheekiness anymore? He's not cheeky. He's not fun. He's boring. Thomas has become a bit of a coward and a little bit of a moan a lot. Retro nostalgia. I have a friend that used to hate James. Goes buzz 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 or buzz buzz. Oh really? Did they not like the fact that James got stung on the nose? I thought that was quite funny at the time. That is based off a Railway Series book, and really I would have thought out of all of them that one was a little bit over the top for a Railway Series story, but it was a Railway Series story. I thought it was quite funny, especially when it goes spinning on the turntable to try and weesh them off. My teacher was born in 1990, says Thomas and Rosie. That's when, same year my sister was born. I was born a bit before then, Thomas and Rosie. Retro nostalgia fan. That's understandable. Thomas and Rosie fan. What's your opinion on Mario? As in Mario from the from the new series? I have no opinion. Thomas and Rosie. What's your opinion on Sonic? Loved Sonic when I was growing up. I preferred Sonic over Mario, but that was because everyone I knew had a Sega Mega Drive rather than a Nintendo. Come to love Nintendo. Switch is just hours of fun. Becky B poetry. I was born in 1990. Were you, Becky B? That's a surprise. My sister was born in 1990. What a coincidence. The video game series, yeah. Yeah, Mario. I like the Wii Super Mario Brothers because that was really one of the first Mario games I was really involved with. I like the Mario Party games. Mario Kart is obviously a lot of fun as well. I really want to play that new Luigi game. That looks a lot of fun. That's something I'd quite like to invest in. A Fenner 7. I hate the pacing. Excuse me. I hate the basing. It says basing, but I'm guessing you're saying pacing, my friend. They do in the newer seasons of Thomas and Friends. What about you? If you're talking about the fact that they're now making stories about 20 minutes long, absolutely, it's just ridiculous. I thought it was silly when they moved Thomas to about 8 to 10 minute length stories from series 8 up to series 12. I just felt it dragged the stories, and when we talk about character development, there is zero character development from series 8 to 16. They all just become stupid, ignorant, and have to be told 3 times before they actually learn their lesson. And that was a bad time for Thomas. That really was. Thomas and Rosie, have you seen the new Sonic movie? I haven't, but that's something I will be wanting to see at some point. Retro nostalgia fan, yes, that was, but he got used to it when he was 13. Retro nostalgia, let me. Oh, right, with Buzz Buzz. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. Right, I'm going to unbox one of these because actually this one came recently, so I really do actually want to unbox this. So we've got Trackmaster Push Along Toby, and there's the back. There's a new salty image there, a new toy there. We've got Percy, Thomas with some paint splatter. What does it actually say there? It says paint splat Thomas, and then we've got Percy, and then we've got Seaweed Salty and Nia. Nia came in a pack, which also included James, which you saw, hence why they're unboxed. But there's Nia, if anyone is interested. She's quite small and compact. Nice little model though. There is quite a lot of detail to Nia. Also, I have Rebecca. There's Rebecca. Yes, and there's she's very good actually. She's got quite accurate sort of design. There's quite a nice lot of detail in there. So that's more reminiscent of Take and Play, I would say. And then also Emily. Emily again a little bit long, and then the tender's rather short, but it's good. It's good. And then we've got Victor as well. Victor looks a little bit cross-eyed there, but again, quite nice. They're quite bulky, some of them. And let's open Toby, shall we? I am going to. This is one of the first times you're going to see me actually unbox something on camera, so enjoy the moment. Let's see if I can do this quite nicely without damaging it. It's Thomas and the Breakdown Train on now. Oh, try and get. There we go. Do you know what? Considering that was live on camera, that's not too bad unpackaging, is it? And it's still on there. So we've got, oh, Toby's quite heavy. Toby looks a little bit big, does he not? I did say this on the live stream yesterday that I think, look, his bell's very, very small. He's got a very small bell. And then there's Toby there. No paintwork going on here. He's quite wide and quite long actually for Toby. The wheels look a bit strange as well. I mean, I'm glad to have Toby because we've got, you know, all of the original Steam team now in the new Trackmaster push-alongs, but is it a very accurate representation of Toby? Yeah, but there we go. Quite a nice model. Even the windows haven't been painted. They have that side, but they haven't bothered that side. Haven't painted his light, but it's nice. It's a nice little model. I wouldn't say it's anything spectacular. What have we got going on with the comments? Have we actually had any more comments? What's the only thing from Big World, Big Adventures that you like? The credits. Wingy Media, were you ever into Hornby? I did want to collect Hornby, but they're so expensive even now. Because obviously I had to go to a few shops with my partner. We went and bought a lot of scenery and a lot of things for my sets for the Take and Play stories, and even then we go into the shop and you see some of them second hand. You can get them a bit cheaper, but you know, just a house costs about £5-6 second hand. If you buy them brand new, it costs you about £15. Tracks, scenery, engines, whew, expensive. Thomas and Rosie, I'm planning to get him soon after when this virus is over. Oh, that's good. Well, make sure you do stay at home. Make sure you all stay at home. Stay safe, save lives, do your bit for your... Sorry, I got distracted there. Do your bit for your health service, whether it's the NHS or your private sectors all over the country, all over the world, etc., etc. Stay safe and stay at home. Oh dear, James is getting levered back onto the rails now. Thomas at the Breakdown Train. It does look stunning, remastered. It really does. Thomas and Rosie. And then we've got, right, Retro Nostalgia. I was born in 2002. God, that makes me feel old. 2002. I was nearly finishing secondary school in 2002. Advana 7, I meant to put, I hate the bouncing they do now. Yeah, so do I. I don't know why they're trying to humanise steam engines. It just, if that's how you set out a new series like, you know, Chuggerton, I think it was called, or Chuggertown, or whatever it was called. If that's how you're setting out your premise for the series, then fine, or Bob the Builder, or whatever. But Thomas didn't never set out to be quite like that. Okay, it's totally unbelievable in a lot of senses that Thomas and his friends have actual faces and speak. But, you know, there's taking license on certain things to create characters, and then there's just throwing it out to the realms of being unbelievable, and it's just, no, I don't like the way it's going, sadly. I would like to revisit it and say that it's improving again, but compared to this, look at the effort that went into making these sets. Yeah, you just don't get that in the new series whatsoever. Thomas and Rosie, do you like a few episodes from season 22 of Thomas and Friends? There's a few, the ones that are set on Sodor. There's one or two that are okay if I take away the stupid dream sequences they throw in. Yeah, they're okay, but compared to when I'm talking about CGI era, if I'm talking about series 17 to 21, no, they're nowhere near as good. Chloe Netherton, foliage. Yes, buying the foliage. Buying trees and scenery and foliage. Amples of foliage all over my set. Yeah, the foliage, and that's very fiddly. That's very fiddly because it comes apart and then it goes into little bits and it gets all over your set and carpet and whew. So yeah, please give those videos a watch. They are there of my take and play Thomas and Friends. They are I enjoyed doing them, and I hope that you give them a watch and enjoy them as much as I enjoyed making them. Thomas and Rosie, do you hate the coronavirus? Who doesn't hate the coronavirus? I think the coronavirus hates the coronavirus. It's horrible. It's horrible times, and there are people, you know, the people who are seriously ill, people in intensive care, people who are passing away due to this horrible pandemic. It's horrendous, and people being separated from their families and friends. And we don't know. There's trickles of hope coming up that the numbers are starting to drop, but that we could have a second wave where it goes up again. We live in uncertain times, so the best way to kick it in the backside is just by doing what the government and what the scientists tell us, and that's stay at home, stay safe, watch a bit of Thomas. That should be a slogan. Retro Nostalgia, say TwinHat, you're really awesome, man. I'm sorry if I asked, but I told you that. If I told you that. That's very nice of you to say, Retro Nostalgia. You can say that as much as you like. I couldn't possibly comment on my awesomeness, but if you think I'm awesome, then you know what? That's great, and I hope you enjoy this live stream, and I hope you enjoy my channel, and yeah. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it very, very much. I appreciate everybody who has taken the time out of their day to come and watch my videos, whether it is a live stream or whether it's just on a whim. Let me know how you found my channel, how you found this live stream. If you weren't already subscribed to the channel, I'd like to hear a little bit about you guys. I'm American, you don't hate me, do you? Says Retro Nostalgia. I don't hate anybody. Don't hate anybody. I have no reason to hate anybody. Obviously, there are, you go through life, you're not going to get on with everyone, are you? Of course you're not. But no, my friend, I have no problems with you being American. I have no problems with Americans at all. I just wasn't born and bred in America. I was born in the UK, so I'm a UKvian. So there we go. But you're welcome, my friend. Thomas and Rosie, what's your favourite season 21 episode of Thomas and Friends? I can't really. Oh, the one with Terence. They did in this series, they did Thomas, Terence and the Snow, and then it's kind of roles reversed in that episode. That was what I would call the last great episode from the CGI era that we got. That one, I really loved that story. I thought that was very good. I can't remember what it was called. Thomas and Rosie also says, when is your birthday? End of October, just before Halloween. Chloe Netherton, stay at home and watch TwinHat's Take and Play. # stay safe. Absolutely. I mean, Chloe Netherton, I couldn't agree with your comments more. I mean, who wouldn't want to sit indoors on a beautiful day like this and watch TwinHat's channel? I could not foresee any other option than to do exactly that. Absolutely agree with that one. Becky B Poetry, agree with Chloe. Hashtag stay at home. Absolutely, that's the key message from both there. Hashtag stay at home. Luigi, I'm back. Welcome back, Luigi. We are just about, we're right at the end of, what are we at the end of? James and the Coaches. So if you want to hop back on and start watching from there, you've caught up. Is anyone else watching the series along with me, or am I just enjoying this on my own, other than Luigi, of course? Terence Breaks the Ice, that's the one. It's a brilliant episode. And what day in October? Every day of every year. I don't know. I don't know what day it falls on, to be honest. I don't know what day my birthday falls on this year. That's good, and same here. I don't hate anyone either. Also, you're very welcome, Twin Hat. Cheers, says Retro Nostalgia Fan. No, thank you, thank you. You are here taking time out to watch my content. I'm very pleased. If you haven't smashed a like or subscribed, and you haven't done any of those things, please do. All the support in the world would be great. Gordon Fan, a good example of his development is Gordon and Spencer. Yes, I get that there's like there's more there's kind of an evolution of his character in Gordon and Spencer. I do agree with that, but what I also see is that that's them trying to take Gordon's character into a different avenue because Spencer has become the sort of alpha male, if you like. Spencer has taken over that pompous know-it-all attitude that Gordon had, and to sell merchandise and to sell toys, they brought in a new engine that has pretty much the same traits as Gordon. So if anything, it's taken away what's great about Gordon's character and just pushing it over into another engine in order to sell merchandise. And Gordon Fan added to that because it shows that he had become a lot less jealous in that. And therein lies positives and negatives. I see that as a negative because I feel that's taken away from Gordon's character. But if you're a fan of Spencer, then you see that as character development, perhaps. Retro Nostalgia, you've got to admit, is Ertl better than Take and Play? No contest. Ertl every time. They were well made. They were solid toys that you could get away with playing with for years and years. And I'm sure you can with Take and Play. I've never played really with the Take Alongs or Take and Plays because I've been using them for my videos, but also most of the time they are sealed in packages like Kevin. Let's open Kevin, shall we? Oh, this is like my birthday. I don't know what day it's on, but it feels like my birthday today. Let's open up Kevin. This one is not quite as elegant as the last unboxing, but let's open it up all the same. Oh, and out comes actually, that wasn't too bad either, was it? Let's have a look. Kevin, absolutely huge. And his crane doesn't really do very much, doesn't swivel about or anything. He's got a coupling there, and he's got a coupling there. And there is Kevin. And compared to Toby, Kevin's bigger than Toby. But yeah, Kevin looks very, very good. I do like it. The detail is there. It's quite a nice little toy. But yeah, so there we go. So that's Kevin. But I will admit, Ertl is much better. Much, much better. They were bigger. The details on them were really, really good as well. And I just think they were just more substantial as toys. I think toys like that in general are better in the old days than they are now. Yeah, I just I don't see how you can compare the two. What's your opinion on Noddy? Never really was a fan of Noddy. Again, it was one of those that I didn't feel it stimulated my interest or didn't really teach me anything. Not to say that Noddy wasn't a good program, but it just wasn't my thing. Athena 7, who is your favourite Scarlowy railway engine? I would say I liked Duke and I really liked Sir Handel as well. Sir Handel was good. Duncan was good as well. Which reminds me, I found an original take and play Duncan. I mean, you couldn't have timed that more perfectly, could you? There's the back there. And there is Duncan. This one I will not be unboxing because you can't really find these in their packaging as readily as you can the new push-alongs. But Take and Play, this was when Take and Play was still good. These new magnets were absolutely dreadful, as I've said in my previous videos before. But there's Duncan. We've got Duncan as well. Oh, my knee's going a bit numb. Oh, pardon me for shifting a bit. 1 second. Just get that. Sorry, get that out the way. Oh, have I missed? Who is blah, 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 blah. The Gordon fan. That's just what I think. I'm glad you agree. Wingy Media. What universe would you want to see Thomas crossover into if you had to? Doctor Who, Disney, Saw, any others spring to mind? Thomas with Tugs. Thomas with Tugs. Because it would be relatively realistic, although the Tugs was set in the 20s and Thomas, I'm presuming, is set from the sort of 50s, 60s, but you could easily mould them together. Can you imagine? Becky B. Poetry, were you a fan of Tugs? You were a fan of Gran, so you might remember Tugs. Would you think that'd be a good crossover between Thomas and Friends and Tugs? I can see that happening. I can see that very much. I mean, they have kind of already done it because... is it Big Mickey is part of the Thomas and Friends series now. Now, Big Mickey was called Big Mickey in Tugs. The actual crane Big Mickey was in Tugs, and he's now crossed over to Thomas and Friends, so it's already happened. So, very likely. Retro Nostalgia fan. I made Ertl video on my channel, but it's on a iPhone camera, laugh out loud, but I recommend it. Retro Nostalgia. If you've done some Ertl videos, I would be very happy to subscribe to your channel, and I'll also give your video a watch and a like as well, my friend. Thomas and Rosie says, are you not telling us your birthday because it is personal? It's not that, but you know, I don't see my birthday as particularly important right now. It's a long way off. Maybe coming close to the time. If anybody wants to send me any new Trackmaster toys or anything for my birthday, maybe I'll give you some details closer to the time. Retro Nostalgia says, happy birthday, TwinHat, smiley face. Thank you very much. I enjoyed opening that. I've got a few more if you want to see them opening. I grew up watching Series 1 with Ringo Starr's US narration. Well, do you know what? Growing up with Ringo Starr's narration whether it be the US or the UK version, is a winner for me. Thomas and Rosie, do you have any Fireman Sam VHS tapes or DVDs? I do have DVDs of the classic Fireman Sam series, and I did have them on VHS. I think I might have got rid of them, but I had Fireman Sam 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, even 6 and 7, I think. Yeah, I did. Number 1 was blue, as I remember. Number 2 was orange. Number 3 was green. Number 4 was red. Number 5, I think, was yellow. Yes, and I think number 6 was purple. Did you know that in North America they were packed in Ertl Thomas trains with VHS? I just found that out recently. Well, they used to put Ertl toys as part of the VHS package. That's interesting. They kind of do that with the minis, with 1 or 2 of the toy and Thomas and Friends recent DVDs. They've done that. They've done that before. They've done that before, where they've put the toys in with the packaging. So I'm presuming it was pretty much done that way. Did you? Becky B. Poetry. I loved Tugs. There was a clip of trains in Tugs, and I always thought it was Thomas and Friends train. It's very likely that the trucks and coaches or well, or freight cars if you are American audience member. I'm pretty certain they used those. The train in Tugs wasn't in Thomas and Friends. It was like an old American Western train. You know, the ones with the sort of ones you would see in westerns with the big spouty funnel and the cowcatcher at the front. Though that I'm sure you fans know what kind of engine I'm talking about. It was one of those, and yeah, they never appeared in Thomas and Friends. Thomas and Rosie. I'm not a fan of Tugs, but I do like it. But I prefer Thomas more. Oh, I prefer Thomas, of course. But I just think it was sad that TV series like Tugs were cut short when they actually had quite a lot to offer. Because I grew up with Thomas, and that's a very acceptable reason. Thomas and Rosie. Nostalgia fan. Thanks, TwinHat. Smiley face. Not a problem, my friend. Thomas and Rosie also says, would you like to show them to us sometime? Um, what was that? Was that the Ertles or was that the VHS? I can't remember. I can't remember. Was that what your question was previously? Yes. Fireman Sam VHS tapes. I can quite happily do the DVDs. I've got them just here, but I can't dig them out right now. But I can do a video of Fireman Sam. I'll be more than happy to do that. Fireman Sam was probably my favourite after Tugs and Thomas. Oh, and Paddington. I love the TV series of Paddington, not the cartoon, the still animation. That was a good one. Anyone remember Bertha? Bertha was quite a good one as well. Rainbow. That was another classic. Inspector Gadget, which I think I mentioned as well. Um, Retro nostalgia fan. I like both narrations of Ringo Starr. It's sad that some of the series 2 episodes didn't have Ringo Starr narrating and had George Carlin instead. Yeah, George Carlin I found was a bit harsh and growly and Gruffalo like to narrate Thomas. You need a very soft, sensitive voice with a lot of expression and good emphasis on in key areas. And I don't think George Carlin quite got it, not the way Ringo did. Um, Adam K says hello. Hello, Adam K. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us and thank you for joining my stream yesterday. It's good to have you back, my friend. Who is your favourite character from Tugs? Ooh. Who is my favourite character from Tugs? I really like Top Hat because he's just funny and he's a bit like Gordon, a bit pompous, a bit of a know-it-all, but always gets proven wrong. I really liked Big Mac and Warrior. I love Sunshine. I like 10 Cents. OJ was good. OJ and Top Hat. I think I would have to say OJ and Top Hat. I think some of my favourite stories involved them. Retro nostalgia. I've watched Tugs twice, but even though I'm not into Tugs as much as Thomas, as I still like it. Well, that's good. I'm glad you like it. Nowhere Boy. Hello, my friend, and hello, my friend Nowhere Boy. Great to have you back on the stream. Thomas and Rosie say, what do you think of the Paddington movies and the other TV series, even the new one on Nick Jr.? I haven't seen any of the new TV series. Paddington movies 1 and 2 are brilliant. I absolutely love them. I really like the second one, actually. I probably prefer the second one to the first one of the Paddington movies. But they're both just very nice. Watch them over Christmas with my partner. And yeah, they're just very nice, very feel good. Very feel good. Thomas and Rosie. What do you think of Fireman Sam Series 5? I don't know how far down the line Series 5 is. Is that when they started doing CGI? If so, haven't watched any of the CGI. Becky B. Poetry. Top Hat for the win. I do love Top Hat. I think Top Hat was the best. And I do have Sunshine and 10 Cents as Ertl toys. And I knew when I was a little kid, I went into a little shop that was closed down a few years ago, but it was a very good toy novelty shop. It was called Masters. And me and my sister used to go in there quite a lot. And they sold the Ertl toys in there, and I once went in with my gran, and I swore that I saw an Ertl toy of Top Hat, but I never got it. And then emerged on Google, I think it is. If you type it in, that someone has a photo shot of Top Hat as part of the Tugs Ertl range, and it blew my mind. I just wished I'd got it, because do you know what? That would be worth an absolute fortune if it was sealed, especially. If anyone's got it, let me know. Where have I got to? Nowhere Boy says, hey TwinHat, did you listen to the Monkeys live album? I haven't had a chance yet, my friend. Last night had dinner, had some series that we needed to catch up on, and then today been out and about, getting our provisionals and things like that. Coming home, setting up for the live stream today. But when I get a free moment, sit out in the patio, on the patio, put me media device on, and I will give it a listen, my friend. I'll let you know what I think of that. I hope you're having a good day, sir, and keeping safe. Adam K, have you heard of Theodore Tugboat? Yes, I'm more familiar with the toys, and that was kind of a spin-off of Tugs, wasn't it? Never watched it though. Retro nostalgia, even on his narration for A Close Shave, where George says it's too late. Yeah. I haven't really seen enough I haven't really seen enough of the American narration to really form an opinion. But what I have seen, I'm not a very big fan of. Thomas and Rosie. I love Paddington 2 as well. It is brilliant. It is a very sweet film. Series 2 is my favourite Thomas series, as Retro. Series 2 is my favourite. It's interchangeable with one and 2, but yeah, 2 overall is my favourite. It's got Percy Takes the Plunge, for goodness sake, one of the greatest children's stories there is. Thomas and Rosie. Series 6 was actually the start of the CGI Fireman Sam, and I don't recommend it, because it's absolutely... I won't repeat that on camera, my friend. I won't repeat that on camera, my friend, in case we have young audiences in. But yes, I don't think it's a very good one either. Let me just check my camera. I don't know if it's charging or not. Yes, yeah, I didn't think it was a very good. I'm not really interested in the CGI series either. Nowhere Boy, I am. I've been sorting my Thomas Tomey stuff and my DVDs. Oh, sorting them out to play, to watch, to sell, just for a bit of nostalgia. Let me know what you're thinking about that. Adam K, who is your favourite Thomas narrator? Ringo Starr. Absolutely, 110%. You're too fat, you need exercise. Are you? I have, Luigi, that's very good. You've caught up to where I am. Yes, we are on Thomas and the Guard. If anyone else is watching along, you will also know whereabouts we are. Thomas and Rosie. What do you think of Postman Pat 2003 to 6 series? Again, no interest in that. I only stayed interested in Thomas because it was my all-time favourite. Other than that, the ones that I liked when I was growing up, they're the ones I stick with. Retro nostalgia. If I had to pick George's best US narration, it would have to be either Series 3 or 4. Okay, well that's good. I thought for the UK, Michelangelis's best narration was Series 4. I think he was finding his feet in Series 3 and not quite getting it right. But Series 4 and 5 in particular, I think he did a great narration. And 7, I liked his style of narration in Series 7 as well. Who is your Luigi? Oh, I'm going backwards, if anything. Thomas the Printer and SDS and the movie. What's the SDS? I can't remember. I might be just drawing a blank there. Adam K, what is your rarest Thomas / Tugs item? My rarest Thomas item is probably my sealed Ertl Murdoch. My sealed Ertl Murdoch. That's probably my rarest item. and my rarest tug item is 10 cents and sunshine. Although they're not boxed, they're still pretty expensive to obtain. Do you have any Postman Pat VHS tapes? I used to. I had Postman Pat 1 on VHS, but I don't have it anymore, I'm afraid. I do have the original series on DVD, though. Nowhere Boy. I've been sorting King of the Railway to watch before I watch Adam Sandler or Owen Wilson flick, and I've been doing some drumming and playing Tommy. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, I used to play drums as well, so got even more in common, Nowhere Boy. That's great. Oh, I did used to like bashing away on my skins. So we are up to Thomas Goes Fishing. I'm going to, once it gets to Thomas, Terence and the Snow, probably then we'll call it a day for this stream, because then we're halfway through series 1. So before we do that, I'm going to unbox another one. Let's unbox Diesel, shall we? There he is in his box. There's the back. Who's that? We got Thomas, Rajiv and Diesel. Very nice. Let's open it up and have a little look inside, shall we? I should have saved these really for my own video, but you know what? It says a live unboxing and watch along, and that's exactly what we're going to get. Can't break into the seal of this one. That one was just a mess. What a mess. Oh dear. And there we have Devious Diesel, looking rather happy there. Good design again. It looks quite nice, quite small. Diesel's quite small, but I would say actually Diesel's probably on the surface is actually about the right size. His wheels are quite high rise, but Diesel looks about the right size. And then when you compare him to like James, look how much bigger James is. I mean, James is never that long, but yeah. So that's that. I've got 2 more. No, 3 more. I've got 3 more. I've got a Bertie. Bertie's huge. There's Bertie. We've got Percy. And we've got Salty. So, there we go. Let's have a look where we are now. Luigi 99. I hate how the line "you're too fat, you need exercise" was changed in the US to "you're too slow to need exercise." Too slow, you need exercise. Yeah, I think in America the sensitivity level is a little bit different to how it is in the UK. For example, you call him Sir Topham Hatt. He's usually referred to as the Fat Controller. It's a term of endearment, but there is quite a high there's quite a high population in America that suffer with obesity, and so maybe sensitivity over there is different to it is over here. So, you know, it's. And also, it's more of an ironic statement with Henry, because Henry isn't a fat engine. It's just Thomas being a bit cheeky, and maybe the American audience don't quite get that humour that translates over in this country in the same way. Least favourite Thomas character. Billy is a rubbish character. I don't like Nia very much. She's got no real character. Rebecca, there's not very much to that character either. She's a bit of a non-entity as a character in the series. There's quite a lot I could mention. I don't. Ferdinand. Ferdinand is the worst. One of the worst characters. Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand were just one of the worst creations in Thomas and Friends. That's right. That's all he said, and it used to grind my gears. Engines don't go fishing. I think he's literally that line has just gone past. Just coming to the end of Thomas Goes Fishing, so we've got 1 more episode, I believe now. It's Thomas, Terence and the Snow, and then we're 13 episodes in, which is halfway through the series. Did you ever go to detention in school? No, I never went to detention at school. I was very well behaved at school. I hope you don't go to detention, Thomas and Rosie. You know, Want to be good, get your education, do well. Retro nostalgia fan. I do like Michael's UKC seasons 3, 4, and 5 narrations are great, but I do love his series 6 narration. He sounded enthusiastic on season 6. I think he sounded a bit over enthusiastic. Nowhere Boy 88. His wheels are spread out. Love your t-shirt, TwinHat. Thank you very much. It was referenced earlier in the stream, Revolver, as you well know. Thomas and Rosie have to go now. Goodbye. Goodbye, Thomas and Rosie, and thank you very much. Thank you very, very much for joining the stream, and thank you for all your questions and your input on the stream. Adam K, favourite Thomas song? The original theme tune. After that probably would be James's theme tune from series 1 and 2. Percy's, the Danger theme tune from series 2, from Percy Takes the Plunge. Wingy Media, I liked Ferdinand, United legend. Yes, yes. I think you got a little bit confused. Ferdinand, the steam locomotive, and not Rio Ferdinand. I'm afraid, Wingy Media, but yes, good. He was very good for England too. Retro, not Ferdinand the locomotive, Rio Ferdinand. Retro nostalgia fan. I don't like Rebecca in Big World Big Adventures. I just don't think. I don't think she's. I mean, look. I mean, why is she? Why has she got that kind of livery? It just doesn't. It's not complimentary at all. Train spotter and football fan. Oh, welcome back to the stream, my friend. What's your favourite TV show? Oh my goodness, that's like saying how long's a piece of string. I have several different favourite programs. I mean, favourite thing to watch of all time would be anything to do with Laurel and Hardy, really, or Thomas. Fools and Horses is my favourite sitcom. Frasier is my favourite American sitcom. I like South Park. I like Chaplin. I like Keaton, Thomas, Doctor Who, Disney, movies. Oh, there's so many things. I can't really contain it into one category there. But thank you for your question, and I hope you're well. Furnace 7, if you had the choice, which Doctor would you have as an engine in Thomas and Friends? As in from Doctor Who? Adam K, Troughton or Splatter and Dodge? Oh, thoughts, sorry. I've got Doctor Who on the brain there. Thoughts on Splatter and Dodge? Absolutely awful as well. Retro nostalgia. Autumn had come to the island of Sodor. I know, and now it's turned to winter. The dark clouds full of snow. His driver's very concerned about it. I'm presuming that means retro nostalgia that you're also watching along. That's very nice to hear. Nowhere Boy, I love Men Behaving Badly. I never really watched that. I was more of a Bottom fan, the TV series. I'm not just a fan of Posteriors. That would be strange. And then, yes. Doctor, my favourite Doctor, which would be the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton. Can you imagine an engine called Troughton? That'd be awesome. Wingy Media says Tom Baker would be an amazing narrator for Thomas. I don't know if he'd make a good engine though. Tom Baker would probably, whether he'd make a good engine or not, I don't know. He would make a good narrator, but I don't think he would suit Thomas. I think he needs to be narrating something that's a little. I think he'd be brilliant at narrating the Teletubbies because he would totally immerse you into the ridiculousness of their world. Whereas something like Thomas, I think you have to be a little bit more straight-edged. And Tom Baker is just an absolute kook. Adam K, where do you store your Ertl items? In boxes. Becky B Poetry, big up the bottom. Well, thank you very much for that comment. That's interesting. Retro nostalgia fan, yes indeed. Luigi, oh, I didn't need that stupid old thing yesterday and I shan't today, says Thomas. Snow can't stop me. Well, it certainly has now. He's been pulled out of the snow heap by Terence Retro. Not to mention, Rebecca says, "Yay me," which my friend finds her greedy. Oh, I can't. I don't even know what her catchphrase would be. I have no interest in her character, to be honest. Nowhere boy. Could Neil Morrissey, could Neil Morrissey narrate for Thomas? No, I don't think so. I don't. He's already done Bob the Builder, isn't he? I don't think he could do Thomas. I would just like Ringo Starr back doing it, if I'm honest, or I would rather Michael Angelis come back and do it. Them two, they just. There's something about Thomas, there's always been a penchant for it, is that Liverpudlian voices always seem to suit Thomas and Friends, Ringo Starr, Michael Angelis, Mark Morahan. On the Railway Series audiobooks, I can't remember his name, but there was an actor who did the narration for the Christopher Audrey Railway Series. He was a Liverpudlian as well. I seem to find that Liverpudlian voices have that slightly light-hearted sound to them that works really well with something like Thomas, and maybe that's just because what we've been given, but I think it is. It is. Becky B and the young ones. Yeah, big up the bottom and the young ones. Great shows, loved them growing up as well. Retro Nostalgia fan, same here. Becky B, TwinHat to narrate Thomas and Friends. Well, thank you very much. I would have to do a Scouse accent though, and I don't know if I can maintain it. But I could give it a go. Do you think Thomas could meet the Beatles? I don't know. I don't know if that would really. I suppose you could. I mean, technically, the Beatles and Thomas have kind of worked together with Ringo, obviously, so it's possible. But I don't see how you could integrate Thomas meeting the Beatles. But then again, in the stories that we get these days, anything's possible. Adam K, favorite narrow gauge Thomas character. I said Duke, Sir Handel were my favourites. I really like them. Peter Sam as well. I quite liked all of the narrow gauge engines from Series 4 at least. Oh, we're on Thomas and Bertie, so I am going to stop it. The DVD has been stopped, and it's taken 82 minutes, around about 80 minutes of playing time of watching Thomas and Friends, and we've got a couple of more questions, have we? We've got Retro. I try to talk like an Australian to my friends for fun because I love the accent. Ah, well, yeah, the Australian accent is quite strange because it sort of sounds like a mixture of American and English combined together. But could an Australian narrate Thomas? Has there been an Australian narrator for the Australian audience of Thomas? I know the Beatles are playing the Sodor Fair and Thomas to collect them. That's a possibility. It'd be quite an interesting one, wouldn't it? It'd be quite interesting, especially when you then get. Wouldn't it be great if Thomas is arriving at the bandstand while the Beatles are playing and it's Ringo singing Yellow Submarine? That'd be great. Luigi, thoughts on the new DVD and awful looking Bob the Builder? Have no knowledge really of Bob the Builder. No. Yeah, never have watched Bob the Builder. But when it comes to the new, I just no, I don't have any opinions on that one really. It's just sad that another classic children's program is being ruined. Wingy Media, did any Thomas episodes ever scare you as a kid? Not scared me, it was more the faces. Like Gordon's face at the end of Off the Rails when he goes back into the shed. That face was a little bit odd looking. I got sort of, I wasn't scared, it was more intense. I felt like the intenseness of what was going to happen, like the build up to the flying kipper. You knew something bad was going to happen, but it was that anticipation of waiting for it. I know a lot of people were spooked by Haunted Henry, but I was a little bit older than a lot of people who may have been spooked by it at the time. I wasn't very young when Haunted Henry came out. No, none of them spooked me. One episode of Tugs absolutely scared the living daylights out of me, which was called Ghosts. Becky B probably will remember this, where the 10 Cents and Sunshine collide, and amidst the ocean is all this smoke and lights flashing, and this face appears, but it's not the ghostly face that scared me. It's 10 Senses' reaction to it. That face is absolutely terrifying. It scared the living daylights out of me, that face. If you go on YouTube and have a look for it, watch Ghosts and watch their reaction to the galleon and the ghost face, and watch 10 Senses. Look at 10 Senses' face, and you tell me as a 3-year-old, 4-year-old that 10 Senses' face does not scare you. Gosh, it did. It scared the absolute life out of me. Do you think Beatles could... sorry, I've read that one already. Luigi, thoughts? That's okay. Favourite colour? Blue! That metallic blue that Thomas has in Series 1 in particular is my favourite. Do you watch Rick and Morty? I was asked this... No, I wasn't asked this. That was... Bob's Burgers. No, I've never watched Rick and Morty, and I don't think I'm going to. I don't think it's my sort of thing. But thank you, Train Spotter and football fan. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Adam K, do you like Diesel 10 as a character? It's not an entity, really. It's just Diesel, but with a claw. Luigi, what is your favourite Thomas and Friends DVD that you own? Series 1, and the complete Series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. They're my favourites. 1 and 2. If I had to be pushed into it, 1 and 2 would be the ones that I would say are my absolute favourite. Becky B, it certainly is. You know it, I know it, and fans will know it. Retro nostalgia. The movement of the elephant as a kid creeped me out and was unfitting when the elephant moved its trucks. Now I don't mind it. Yeah, I can imagine. Again, I was a little bit older than most. I was already about 9 or 10, so when that series came out. So that's Henry and the Elephant. Yeah, that it didn't creep me out as such. Him going into the tunnel or getting pushed out. I actually found that one quite amusing. That story. That was a Railway Series story that came around about the time of. I can't remember what books that comes into. I think that's around about the time of Flying Kipper and all that. Best price on an Ertl item. I got a sticker face. Thomas for about £10-15, which for a sticker face original in its original packaging was very, very good price. Nowhere boy, TwinHat. My mate is Streaming Studios has done a new video. Is it streaming or steaming? Sorry, my mate Steaming Studios has done a new video. Well, I can check that out, and I'll subscribe and like the video as well. Thank you for your recommendation. The Gordon fan. If you didn't read my response to Gordon and Spencer, that's just what I think. No, you know, the whole Gordon Spencer thing, that's absolutely fine. If that's anyone's opinion on character development or characters in general, that's fine. It's just we all have our different viewpoints on it, isn't it? And yours could very much be the right one. Luigi, have you played any of the I Spy PC games before? I haven't, my friend. I haven't. Train Spotter, favourite character in South Park? Butters. Butters is my absolute favourite. Wingy Media, the Diesel's voice when Rusty is saving Stepney freaked me out as a kid. Plus Boulder was a bit unnerving. Again, I was a bit old for that, so what was that? Series 5 was 98. So I was about 12, 13 at that point, so it didn't really have that impact on me. But yeah, I can totally understand why it would scare people. Anyway, We're coming up to nearly an hour and a half stream. My goodness, I never thought it would go on this long, but I am very pleased it did. It's been very nice to interact with you all, and thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you all for your comments and for your questions. And I hope you have enjoyed this little stream. And there will be maybe another stream coming up very soon. Could even be tomorrow. We'll see how things go. The Super Mario Nintendo outside the US looks much better, says Retro Nostalgia. Well, I hope you enjoy it, my friend. A Furnace 7 says bye. Goodbye, my friend. Have a wonderful afternoon and evening or morning, wherever you might be. And we have Adam K says bye. Becky B, thank you. Bye bye. Make sure you check out Becky B Poetry channel as well. She's got a fantastic poetry about lockdown, which you must give a little look to. Favorite channel for comedy? Currently, it's probably Friday Night Dinner of all time, Green Wing. Nowhere Boy, bye buddy. Goodbye, my friend. Goodbye, buddy. Hope you have a great evening. Luigi says bye, goodbye, and thank you for watching along. And take care, says Retro. Take care, TwinHat. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye-bye, Retro. Thank you very much. Thank you to all for watching. We have reached an hour and a half, and thank you. And don't forget, if you haven't liked the video down below, please do give it a like. Alert your notifications so you know when I'm streaming or when I'm uploading a new video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share the video, share it around on social media and everything. And big up Friday Night Dinner. Love Friday Night Dinner, Nowhere Boy. So let me just get this ready, because last time I tried to get out of it and it didn't work, and it made me look like a little bit of a prat. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you folks on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.